Good morning all. So this weekend I decided to do something about the cupboard in my office. As you can see, the shelves are sagging, the paint is peeling, and it's just a mess. Also, the lighting is quite poor. I've just got an LED light rope wrapped a few times around the underside of the bottom shelf, and I know we can do better than that. With everything cleared out, you can see part of the reason for the sagging was that the top shelf didn't have a backboard. Also, the side boards were far too long, so I pulled those out and then cut them down to size. The new backboard was measured and cut, and then I used my stud finder to locate the studs. There was one area I had a problem with, so I had to find the stud the old-fashioned way. Marked the studs on the backboard, and then after drilling and countersinking those holes, I screwed that in, and now the shelf is sturdy. The bottom sideboards are also a tiny bit long, so they were also removed and cut down to size. To add even more strength to the shelves, I first cleaned up the face and then attached a faceboard with countersunk screws and glue. Down the bottom, the right-hand side support is recessed enough for the faceboard, but on the left side it sticks out. It's a bit hard to remove because there's a big bar underneath and a lot of screws, so I cut a notch out of the faceboard. I then applied some filler to all the countersunk screws and a few coats of white paint to tidy it all up. It was then time to turn my attention to the lighting. Using 5 meters of APA 102C addressable LEDs at 60 LEDs per meter, I counted out 3 lengths of 100 LEDs. I then marked them off and wrote some code to make each segment a different color just to double check my counting. A smarter person would probably have done that first. After some more programming and a little breadboarding, I have it so that when you press a button, each segment lights up one at a time, and then pressing it again changes to a different mode, in this case 3 separate colors. After a while it turns off, but if you press a button it will relight up using the previous mode. Of course, pressing a button is for peasants, so I added a distance sensor to detect my hand and turn on the lights. The button still functions as a means of switching between modes. With everything installed, at least temporarily, I can just gesture towards the Arduino and it turns on, and then pressing the button allows me to cycle through the modes. Here you can see the warm white turning on one shelf at a time. That's cool. The reason I didn't use a motion sensor was because I didn't want the lights turning on when I just walked into my office or moved when I was sitting at my computer. I'm also not using just flat colors. You can see the bottom shelf particularly, that it goes from a warm red through yellow then back to warm red. This adds a lot of depth to the scene and makes it look really cool. The final mode I added, which was kind of just for fun but does have a practical purpose, is one where the warmth of the light reflects the warmth of the cupboard space. So as I hold the temperature sensor in my hand, you can see the lights warming up. And then when I dip it into this glass of ice water, you'll see that they rapidly change to cool blues. The reason for this is the space has a couple of computers, my NAS server, and the second is my home surveillance system. Plus there's a 3D printer, and that big space there is for the Glowforge. I'm probably going to add a Wi-Fi module, which will then notify me if the space gets too warm, and I might need to add some sort of active cooling system, which again could be triggered by the temperature change. Now I still need to tidy up the wires and build an enclosure for the Arduino and the sensor and the button, but I think that'll do for now. I mean, look how straight those shelves are. It's beautiful. Thanks for watching.